asked you to suggest me the funniest metal song ever, and this one came out tops. But I think you guys have stitched me up a good one. I do not think that this song is about ballroom dancing. Well, the joke's on you. Kind of. Because I'm going to do a big ball challenge after this reaction.
Ready for a challenge?
Yeah. Oh, I got it.
Well, I'm upper class, high society. God's
his
gift to
accent's
ballroom
interesting.
notoriety. And I always fill my ballroom. The event is never small. The social pages say I've got the biggest balls of all. I've got big balls. I've got
It's
big
so
balls.
silly.
They're such big balls, and they're fancy big balls. And he's got big balls, and she's got big balls.
You might think this is just super silly, but it's actually super smart. You both know that it's a joke, yet it still sounds like a received pronunciation accent. How is he doing that? Mostly it's about exaggeration of parts of that accent, the melody. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. But also his vocal placement is very round. But I also find the subject of this a little bit interesting because of the history of the time. We'll talk about that.
That's big balls, and they're fancy big balls. And he's got big balls, and she's got big balls. But we've got the biggest balls.
I never thought I'd be swaying to a
My
song that
balls
sounds like
are
this.
always bouncing, and my ballroom always full, and everybody comes and comes again.
It's
If
so
your name is
vulgar.
on the guest
Or
list,
not vulgar.
no one can take you higher. Everybody says I've got great balls on fire.
I love that because it's like the Jerry Lee Lewis.
Goodness and gracious, great balls of fire!
I love this sounds like it is just speaky, and it is. It's the sort of song that you could do well at a karaoke and not have to put too much thought into it. Yet, actually there's some clever things going on. First of all, that melody, which echoes a received pronunciation, British accent.
Did you know that barley beer was probably the first alcoholic drink?
It also follows the chords and creates this lovely phrasing. That gives it that feeling of lift and pomp and this is something that was perhaps a little bit silly. But also there he was using that growl in Great Balls of Fire to make it stand out. The textures make a lot of difference throughout this song. But what's really clever is the blending of high class society imagery with really crude humour. The juxtaposition between that imagery makes you realise how silly some of those pompous events might have been.
Oh no, but if I were to search for logic, I should not look for it among the English upper class.
There's also some other historical issues that kind of inspired and affected this song, so we'll talk about that in a second.
Big balls, fancy big balls. And he's got big balls, and she's got big balls. But we've got the biggest balls of them all. Some balls are held for
Yeah, and then like here it's about all these people boasting about how amazing their opulence is. That's so interesting as a concept, made into really vulgar humor. If you want to find this silly voice, give me an O. You don't want to go O and make it narrow and wide like you might do if you're from the US, dependent on your accent, but really round, massive space inside the mouth. Now, at the time this song was released, there was a lot of radio censorship. People were quite worried about kids being influenced by songs like this, so AC/DC just put the middle finger up to them and wrote a song and said, look, it's about ballrooms. And of course, it did get censored quite a lot. In fact, they actually delayed the release of their album Dirty Deeds Done Cheap in the US. It was out in the UK and Australia because apparently we're way more vulgar. And it was censored, but actually that gave it way more notoriety and it's become a classic ever since. And plus, it's just super memorable. I will never forget this song. He's so clever at playing with opposites though. It's posh and very cheeky at the same time, so let's look at how he does that.
balls, and she's got big balls.
So absurd.
Some balls are held for charity and some for fancy dress. But when they're held for pleasure, they're the balls that I like best. My balls are always bouncing to the left and to the right. It's my belief that my big ball should be held every night.
I love how he is using that melody, even though it's spoken, to be able to tell you where the joke is. You know, when he's talking about his bouncing balls. I never thought I'd say this in a video. He makes it sound very bouncy. When he has a darker point to talk about that maybe has a double meaning that you're like, oh, there's some social issues going on there, he goes a bit lower in his range and adds a little bit of forward placement and makes it even more direct, which makes it feel like a little bit menacing, I think. I find that so interesting in the social commentary that's going on in this song.
And to the right, it's my belief that my big ball should be held every night. We've got
Menacing.
big balls! We've got big balls! We've got big balls!
And then it's like, yeah!
He's
You know?
got big balls! She's got big balls! But we've got the biggest balls of them all! We got big balls! We got big balls! And then just itching to tell you about them. And we have such wonderful fun. Seafood cocktail, crabs, crayfish.
It's still gross though, isn't it? I have no idea what they're saying. It sounds like a protest. Oh. And it ended. A classic, chaotic rock and roll end. Now, for the big ball challenge. I think this is genuinely the most stupid video I've ever done. Step 1. Oh, gaffer tape. Okay, help. It's in my hair, it's in the hair.
I see it.
I'm like a snake.
Yeah, lovely.
Is this ridiculous enough yet? I have a strategy. Number 1, if I can get into a little bridge with this underneath, then I think I can stand up. I don't know actually with it on my back. I'm stuck to something on the ground. It's stuck to the ground. I'm stuck to the ground. Number 2, just throw myself into it. I'm gonna try. She's laughing before I even start.
That was actually wicked. That was actually so good.
Better than I thought. I'm very surprised at the outcome of that. Thank you for voting for that.
Any final words?
No. Bye.